Hey, what's good? What's everybody? What's good? Hmm. Now, why am I about to sneeze? I tried to make sure everything was right before I came on. Now I'm about to. Don't want to sneeze on y'all on this live, but welcome. Um, just come on in. Give y'all a minute. Those of you who care about this topic, or you want to hear what I have to say about this topic. Um, all right. So I hope all of you enjoyed. Those of you, I guess, in the southern region. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful 65 to 71 degrees that we experienced today. I mean, that you experienced and we experienced here in Dallas Fort Worth. It was awesome. It's still awesome even as we speak. Uh, Good. And let me look at 70 degrees of sunshine, and I loved it. I can't wait until the month of March, which is like in 25 more days. Yeah, in 25 more days, I cannot wait. I have the StreamYard connect in the chat. Let me check something really quickly. See, because I don't have anybody private chat. Cool. And let's see. Let me do this really quickly. I want y'all to hit that like and share button. Y'all see the Cash App is already up there. Hit that like and share button as you go. Wait a minute, y'all. Something. Hold on one second. Just give me a second. Hold on. Dang it. Okay, y'all know this will definitely get better once the Cash Apps come in. You see it right there. Where is it? Boom. Rico $ Rico the Opinionist. And on the road to 1,500, that will allow me to start accepting, receiving and accepting your super chats. But right now, let's just talk our way to 1,500. And thank you for joining me on this Sunday evening, 5 o'clock. Um, Try to get it in. And as the topics continue to come, I'll increase showtime because my goal is to make this the premier call-in show where people can come in and share their thoughts on the topics of the day. But I want to give my conversation first, and then you come in and let me know what you think. And so I don't know how many of you saw the Jason Whitlock uh, commentary that he did in regards to the five black officers who beat to death Tyree Nichols, rest in peace, brother, and all the men who died at the hands of unarmed black men who died at the arms of rogue, evil police officers. Uh, and those of you who saw the video know that there was it was something else that's going on, and there are people who are digging up other information as relates to this this recent murder. Because it's not as open and shut as we'd like for it to be. As it relates to the case, more and more people are being discovered as it relates to who are culprits in this situation, and firings are coming, and they're trying to make the connection between him being beat to death and possible woman involved. And I know the parents and stepfather of brother Tyrese Nichols have come out and said, hey, that's just a vicious rumor. He was not involved with somebody's woman or girlfriend, or maybe wife or girlfriend or woman. But but in all fairness, how many parents really know the activity of their grown children? A lot of parents don't know the activity sexually or socially of their teenagers. So it is a pretty risky statement to make when it comes to adult children. Because a lot of times the parents don't know who you are connected with and when you're connected with someone. And so I'm gonna put my parents to do it. There you go. You do that right. And so because my mom doesn't know everybody, all the young ladies I've been connected to. There's ones I've told her about, but It was. I hadn't even mentioned no glory. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm not an anomaly in this thing. But so there are people who will go on that route to try to see, is that true? Was it because of cops ex-girlfriend and mother of his child that he got upset and they colluded together to track him down and beat him as if he ran over a 3-year-old child in a drunken driving situation? No, yeah, because a lot of us are watching that video, have watched that video and say there's something else to that. So anyway, that's what's going on. But Jason Whitlock in his commentary, and I'll try to leave a link in my description box, um, a video where he gives his whole commentary, and even which includes Shamika Michelle. What's up, Shamika Michelle? And he likened the behavior, the violent behavior, and the extreme emotionalism of the 5 cops to that of boys who were raised by single mothers. This is how I'm interpreting his words. Of course, people are saying that he's blaming single mothers for the cops beating the man to death. And I think in his zeal to get the story out and to probably pin something on the system of single motherhood, his words are pretty much a misinterpreted, possibly taken out of context and placed in the wrong area. And also for clickbait, you do get a lot of likes and views if you say somebody hates single mothers, or more specifically hates single black mothers and baby mamas. And my title is hashtag single mothers, hashtag baby mamas, the forbidden topic in the black community. And I meant to add why. Question, why? So we and so Jason went all in. He said, yeah, the emotionalism and the inability to de-escalate and show discipline it is reminiscent of being led by a black single mother. And then he mentioned the current police chief's name, CJ. And she happens to be a married woman of like 30 some years with a daughter, an adult daughter. And so maybe he was just generalizing. I'm sure he wasn't being very specific because the current police chief is a married woman. But what I want to do is take it for what it is. I don't think that he was blaming single mothers for the cops beating. What he was doing is what we've all discussed. Because I'm going to extract that out and create another topic, which is an ongoing topic. Now, what y'all decide to do with Jason Whitlock's comments and how y'all want to structure it is up to you. But I'm extracting the common conversation, the common topic that the black community just refuses to have flat out right. So just like the Tyree Nichols case has has shined light on a lot of other topics that we're talking about, be it fraternity, sorority behavior, I guess how they are initiated, or self-hatred, Sambo behavior. It's a whole lot of things. White supremacy, how it has impacted the behavior, the psychological behavior of black men and women. See, these are topics that have been discussed by scholars for about 100 years, from Marcus Garvey to Malcolm X to Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Francis Wilson, Steve Coakley, Dr. Ben Yakhanan, Dr. John Henry Clark. We've had scholars. Dale Jones, we've had scholars who've always talked about the impact of white supremacy on the black mind and in the psychological trauma of Jim Crow and the slavery on the black mind. So much work has been done, and we have so many books that black people refuse to read the books. And so that's why I'm able to hear what he said in its entirety and extract the conversation that he alluded to in his presentation, or his accusation of black mothers being the culprits behind the black cops beating this black man. Because as relates to what he said about behavior and emotionalism, well, let's look at statistics. Most of the young men who are in gangs, most of the young men who commit violence against other black males, most of the young men who are incarcerated, the majority, over 80% of them, come from single mothers. That is where I want to go tonight. Single mothers, hashtag baby mamas. Why is that a forbidden topic in the black community? When we have statistics, be it black demographics, be it the CDC, federal statistics from the FBI statistics, we have all kinds of stats, numbers that show the impact of a child being raised by a single parent, mainly single mothers, the emotional development, the psychological development, the development of self-esteem and self-perception, they tend to be off. And I've always addressed it. You know, you can tell a difference between a boy who was raised by a single mother and a boy who was raised with a full-time father in the home. It is a difference. The single mother boys are extra emotional. There's some effeminate behavior about them, and they're as Sister Shahrazad Ali would say, they're indecisive, they're bitchy, they're what is it? They don't know how to make great decisions. That's Sister Shahrazad Ali said this. Been back in 89, 90, 91. And still, the gynocracy or the matriarchy refused to hear this information and change behavior. And I know a lot of people, they love to say with this quick comeback, well, what about the fathers? Why aren't they there? Well, let's talk about it. Over 77% of black children, which includes boys, are born to single, never married women. And so all of that in my head means they're choosing to have babies without a father, without the structure of a mother and father household on purpose. I know choosing and on purpose are oxymoronic, but I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. They do. Because what about the fathers of black men walking out from their families? First of all, I said, wow, over 77%, huh? It's a whole lot of graping going on. Whole lot of taking coochie without permission going on. Oh, no? These were dudes that they met after the club? A guy on the basketball team, they're in high school? A result of a gangbang, and she decided to keep the baby? Because I don't know. The numbers aren't high as it relates to how husbands run off from their families. And that word husband seems to create an allergic reaction to a large percentage of black women. And then the whole myth about it's all these men do, go from woman to woman. They don't take care of their responsibilities. Well, let's do the statistics. Oh, the 51% of black men are single and no children. 53% of black men are educated and living in the middle class or upper. And so that means, and also the statistics show, the numbers show that black women have way more children out of wedlock than black men. So there's a small percentage, up to like between 11 and 14% of men that have all the children. So the majority of black women are having sex with the same man. And I guarantee you, those baby daddies, they're not professors. They're not astronauts. They're not PhD college administrators. They're not CEOs of companies. They're not. They're your neighborhood. You fill in the blanks. Pants sagging, really up to no good, or just regular dudes. They're not. So whenever I hear people say black men need to stop running off from their families, they don't run off from their families. Ma'am, a family is it's not a family with some dudes you let hit your body raw after the club. That's not a family. Or how about this? You having an affair with another woman's husband, and you had the audacity to give birth from another woman's husband? Now for you, give me a minute. You chicks that dating other women's husbands, Yeah, I know he volunteered. I got all that. You don't need to let me know all about that. But what is it about you? Now, it's bad enough you're already cheating with another woman's husband or even her boyfriend. But let me say husband. And you choose not to protect yourself, knowing that you're creeping around with another woman's husband. And by the way, well, he creeping too. Well, he can't creep without you, tramp. So, and then you go even further by actually getting pregnant, number one. And number two, you will give birth to a baby from another woman's husband, which lets me know that you don't give a damn about babies, about the psychological development of children. You don't care. Because what happens? Well, he's not going to leave his wife. He probably has children with his wife. And so that poor little baby that you chose to bring here, that little bastard that you chose to bring here, has to suffer the humiliation and the embarrassment because his mother was a little irresponsible, little run around, little dirtbag tramp. Yeah, that's what's going on. If you, ma'am, it's bad enough that you allow yourself to have this liaison or this relationship with another woman's husband, but you allowed yourself to get pregnant. Who you think you punishing? Not punishing him. Yeah, the wife may leave, she may not leave. The other kids might be embarrassed as well because of his behavior. But the person who suffers the most is that baby that you decided to have outside the confines of what God had put in place as a structure. Hallelujah. Come on, somebody. And one thing about it, you little side women are not even ashamed. But then y'all want some kind of side hoe sympathy. Yeah, I don't think very highly of, not just the side one, but the idea, the practice of you actually getting pregnant, number one, and number two, giving birth to a baby from another woman's husband. And then number two, so that's not a family. For those of you who, well, you shouldn't be running away from his family. Then you want to say, you should be running away from his responsibility. It's not his responsibility. His responsibility is to his wife and his children that he has. Now, if he gets over and sneaks over and get a little candy, fine. Well, of course, that's against moral law and against their marriage. But who told you to get pregnant, you side whore? So your poor little daughter, your poor little son has been raised with that scarlet letter, who may not ever get a chance to even be a full child to that father because he's like, you know what? I paid child support. I'm going to go ahead on. I'm going to, you blew up the spot, baby. Let me go ahead and go back to my wife and my children. Yeah. And number two, you chicks is yelling, well, these black men need to stay with their family. It's not a family when you let somebody hit you raw after the club, man. That's not a family. There was a knockdown. You decide to allow yourself to get pregnant and have a baby that shouldn't even been created. Because it's your body. What are you doing having unprotected sex, ma'am, with somebody you met at the club? I'm not against casual sex. I enjoy it. The more casual, the better. Hallelujah. But you're the one who gets pregnant, not the men, because it bothers me when people always want to bring up the men. That lets me know that you're being lazy. And that word non-accountability is just flowing. Y'all hit the like button and share this live, would you? So, that's not a family. You know what a family is? A man who gets together in front of a judge or a preacher and y'all have y'all committed relationship. Y'all live together, go on your honeymoon and build your house together and all that. Then you decide, you make the choice. It's okay, baby, wife, husband, let's have a baby. Let's have some children. That's a family. Let me throw some of y'all a bone because like marriage seems to cause black folks a lot of time to break out in the rash to say the word marriage. So I'll say this. Even if y'all in a committed relationship that y'all say y'all gonna be together, and y'all live together 2-3 years, and then a baby comes about in your home that y'all live together in. Okay, how about that? I guess that's more normal these days because marriage is almost like a unheard of these folks today. And now that's a family because y'all have a little baby. All right, y'all got y'all same house. He ain't going nowhere. You're not going anywhere. So that's a family. But you're a little single, never married woman, and you just dropping your little box off, or whoever got a box cutter, come on, somebody, and you get a chance to split it. But you're the one who's able to get pregnant. How come you are not on some form of birth control? You got 25 options. Why? Who in 2023 is still leaving it up to the man to be the one who tries to prevent birth control? I mean, a birth from happening. Now, the other men, the men who start crying about child support, y'all know the system is messed up. Why do you go raw on these people? But why is it required just because you have sex in the 21st century, she has to get pregnant? There wasn't that much pregnancy going on in the goddamn 1900s. And they didn't have anything. The women didn't even have their bodies. But y'all getting pregnant now as if we're not living in the 21st century. It's insane. You can't talk me out of this reality. I know what I'm talking about. Why all these different methods? Ladies, y'all have about 25 forms of birth control. Why are you leaving it up to the man? Hell, there are guys who even go out and buy the morning after pill. Here you go, give you $50. Some of them have some stacked up. Here you go, baby. Some of you ain't take the damn morning after pill. So I'm not going to put pregnancy prevention on the men. I'm going to put prevention on the men who don't want to get anybody pregnant. That makes sense. And why does it have to be a severe consequence for a man having sex with a woman, or even a teenager having teenage sex with his 16, 15, 16-year-old girlfriend? How come why does it have to be a penalty involved? Y'all, it's like we choose to be savages and ignorant and or dumb when it's convenient, when there's an economic package attached to it. But I think if the state and the government outlawed child support payments or child support system altogether, got rid of the welfare part because you have a baby, you automatically get the welfare payments, the Medicaid and the WIC. They cut all that out. I guarantee you more children, more black children will be born in this proper structure of a household with a mother and a father who love and care for each other. Because the government is really assisting people to be savages, especially the women. But again, because it's the woman, it's the teenage girl who gets pregnant. It's the weirdest thing. So when it comes to the boys being raised by these single mothers, a lot of them teenage girls or 19-year-old, 20-year-old young women. Some of them get pregnant in college. Y'all still doing that? In college is where you're supposed to really be having fun and experimenting and getting it out there. What the hell? Still getting pregnant. I know at these HBCUs, a lot of black girls still getting pregnant in college. But you go to these big white schools, when they barely have like 300 black kids there and 50,000 white folks and others, you'll see pregnant chicks running around there. It's just at these HBCUs. See pregnant chicks running through there. It's the weirdest thing. I remember when I was at Grambling State University, I used to always wonder, why they had a daycare center there. I understand it's probably employees there that maybe left their kids there. Then I learned there were students, girls who got pregnant on campus, leaving their babies. They're like, oh no, there don't be no damn daycare center in the damn university. And the people who work there, their daycare need to be away from the university. I guess it's probably why I'm not a dean or president of a college district. It'll all sound like too much like right. I wouldn't be catering to all this behavior. Because we're catering to it just for the money. While we're trying to get the money, we're lowering people's morality and their character and their sense of responsibility and accountability. So when Jason was talking about this behavior with these boys, and look at the statistics of these young men who were raised by single mothers. And for those of you who know, I was raised by a single mother. So we're not talking about the exceptions to the rule. We're talking about exactly how single motherhood really destroys the psychological development, the development of self-esteem and self-worth in boys and girls, particularly young boys, because that's what Jason Whitlock pointed out. And we see all these young men out here, hell, no dad interference anywhere. They and their mom, uh, she already living above or below the poverty line. She not only has one baby by her high school sweetheart or the neighborhood drug dealer or just some random cat in the neighborhood, and she barely works or doesn't work at all. So it means a black boy has to be subjected to poverty. And then more likely she lives in a terrible neighborhood where there's a lot of gang violence and drug dealing and, predators around there. And so the boy's not protected. The little girlies, but we're talking about the boys. And so the young men who are brought into these situations, the baby male children who are brought into this situation, are then psychologically cajoled into the man of the house status. And that's weird. Why would you tell a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 13-year-old, well, you the man of the house, you need to make sure you take care of your mama and take care of your younger siblings, because they continue to have children even though they're poor. They continue to let dudes around them hit their coochie raw, even though they don't have any money. So that's the government, and that the government is carrying this breeding for the state. And then 7-8 times out of 10, those same boys who are coming up in poverty and living in these impoverished neighborhoods, crime-filled neighborhoods, well, they're your gang members. They're your disgusting rappers who talk about nothing but the violence that they grew up around. They're your prisoners. According to recent numbers, 86 to 87% of the prison system is made up of black people. And 52% of that black males. 53% black males. And damn near 100% of those black males incarcerated come from single black mother households. And then the boys that have been coming out in the last 5 to 7 years, they don't know if they're girls or boys. So please, somebody call up here and let me know what are some positives about single motherhood, baby mamas. Let me know the positives. I like to know, because I don't think there are any positives. I never support, never encourage, never big up, never applaud single motherhood, because I can see right then and there the psychological effect that's going to have on that little boy. Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, he wasn't talking exactly about single motherhood, but he talked about the conspiracy to destroy black boys in these school systems. A lot of black boys don't stand a chance come from these single mother households because they don't have the protection or the discipline that they need in order to survive in these systems or to make their way around. And not all, but majority of these black boys that come from these poor backgrounds with these single mothers who act as if she could not have just one child or less while she's poor living in the ghetto. They're not pushed to become doctors, lawyers, professors, CEOs. They're pushed to become two things. Well, really three. They believe, because the boys in their mind, they believe they need to do some money to get some money to help out. And I don't like that either. Little boys have to give up their childhood and their possible dreams of whatever they want to become in life so they can help their sexually irresponsible mother pay the bills, look out for his younger siblings, or help his older siblings if they're girls, because he happened to be born a male child. So they either come out swinging as neighborhood hustlers, drug dealers, what have you, or they come out, as they're trying to get into the rap game, become rappers, something, and rap about the most horrific things, and at the same time rap about brutalizing other teenage males and other young adult black men, brutalizing or murdering those other men. Number two, football player. Three, next one, basketball. professional. So they groomed them really hard early on the sports, so they can grow up and get them out of their situation. And so when do young black boys growing up in a ghetto through single mothers who had a choice not to do it, when do they get a chance to live out their lives as young men? They have to be provided. The pressure's on them to provide, and then they're always told. Then they get told this weird philosophy: I don't care what your mother do. I don't care what she said to you, whatever. You ain't got but one mama. So I used to hear that foolishness too growing up, and I know it's still going on in these households. When they want to mentally and emotionally manipulate young black boys into being under their control. It's so unfair. And so these young men growing up thinking that their mama is actually God. In the conscious communities or the Hotep or the black consciousness or Hotep community, the black woman is God, Queen Mother God. Damn well that's not true, but they use that to keep young black males under control under the matriarchy or gynocracy. They believe it. They truly believe it. And so they grow up, being this extra defensive about their mothers. Emotional. Because then again, now there's no father, but you got mother, aunties, or her sisters. He probably has sisters, all this feminine energy. So a lot of us, when these little criminal black boys say, hey man, or the rappers say, hey man, I'm just a product of my environment. Well, that also goes with these little black boys who grew up to be violent, emotional, and effeminate, and unsure which way they're supposed to go sexually, or masculinity is on the minimum. Well, and they come from these households. And so this is where they learn. This is the environment that they come up under. Because when the mother's screaming and cussing and hear a gossip on the phone, or getting into it with her boyfriend and all this kind of stuff, or whoever it is the man of that evening is, the boys see this. And so they don't know what to do when they get out. They think they're supposed to just push, pull, lift, and drag. They're not taught that they can intellectualize their way out of the ghetto if they were allowed to be kids. Kids aren't supposed to be supporting their mamas. Parents are supposed to be supporting their children. But black boys is almost comes out genetic now that they become the son husband, or the next husband, or the man that their mama did not really like, or she could not attract. That's what they try to change their sons into. So when these sons act a fool with other males, after having grown up, listen to his mother say, you this, that, like your ugly dad, or you ain't it's like your ugly dad, or all this. So that even creates a self-hatred in himself as being a male. You ever see all these grown dudes that sit around and let women just put women ahead of them in everything? You ever seen that? Yeah. Man, I don't care, man. A real man don't argue with a woman. See, those are those dudes who've been battered down emotionally growing up. No fathers. Now, there's some fathers there that he probably have a beta father that teach him, but you always put on the pedestal, always worship her, whatever the woman is. And these dudes are dying by the boatload with that weird philosophy. These are the same guys that let a woman beat up on him, slap his face. Man, I'm bigger than her, man. So, that's still a woman. But they have yet to pay attention to the news. They have yet to pay attention to social media. They have yet to read the statistic on interpersonal violence or domestic violence. Well, more is almost equal now when men are dying at the hands of women, mainly, in my opinion, from this weird philosophy that you should never hit a woman. Only young black boys. Not only young black boys, but young black boys raised without fathers who are taught this mess. They'll let women stab them, cut them, run over with their car, destroy their property. They think that's some part of manhood. It has nothing to do with it. So you got both sides of it, Jason. You got the overly emotional boys. You got those who don't have any sense of self-protection when it comes to women, but they'll try to, kill one of the 9 lives of another male. When we were growing up, if you said something, your mama jokes. You said some stuff like, man, your mama fat, or your mama can't cook, anything they thought was derogatory towards your mama, you had to pull those dudes apart. Because you got mama just fighting. Now it's so bad, this mama worship with these emotional boys that Jason Whitlock is referring to. Whenever they ready to get revved up, no, they start arguing like women. You got me so messed up. Yeah, boy, yeah. Then they do this. This is what they say. Like there's never been a man in their life, in their lives. On my mama, man, on my dead grandmama. No, they never say on my daddy, never say on my grandpa, my papa, my granddad. It's always on my mama, man. On my dead grandma. Now they may be trying to change it up a little bit, but I think they think God is a black mama. So they a lot of them say, man, on God, cuz on God. I think they saying it because they think that God is a woman, or their mother, or their mother. So this is the weirdest thing. But one of these days, you know, we're gonna have this discussion. You got some women who dare to talk about, but for the most part, we will not go there and talk about the destructive behavior, the destructive outcomes of single motherhood, even though the statistics say exactly what I'm saying to you. Why won't we go there? We've talked about father absenteeism. We've talked about the irresponsible behavior of young men and all that, but we never, ever go to the core corporate culprit of why the black community is the way it is today, just dysfunctional. There's no problem talking about the men, none whatsoever. People don't have a problem at all. But we never go to the core of these households because the one who's been a counselor for years, I would always tell my groups and then as well as my individuals, it is our households that present us to the world. Whatever teaching, learning, whatever modeling that you received as a little child growing up in this environment, that is what you usually take off with you. You start off with teenage years and young adult years out into the world. And if it's negative, hopefully someone would intervene in your life and help you to change that way of thinking. But so far, a lot of people taking the foolishness out there and the war on society because we absolutely refuse to talk about the detrimental effect of baby mamaism and single motherhood on the black race in America. We don't want to talk about why so many teenage black girls and college age black girls think it's so appropriate to just get pregnant and have a baby by yourself. And I've often said in other lives and other videos on Facebook or TikTok, whatever, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, why or why is it that they think it's appropriate to have these babies out of wedlock with no father? What is the hatred that for men? What is this thing? Again, don't mention no men because they can't get no cooch without permission. So why won't we talk about this? Well, maybe I can give some insight. When you want to destroy a community, guess what you do? When you want to destroy a community, destroy a family, you do this. Two things. You lure the woman away. Lyndon Baines Johnson, 1964, 65, 65, and Gloria Steinem, Jewish white woman, and a feminist, told sisters, hey, you don't need a man, girl. He's been oppressing you, even though they've been holding hands for the last 10 years in the civil rights movement and marching together, getting bit together, being lynched together, at times being beaten together. But the white woman who's bored, Gloria Steinem, told sisters and so-called leaders of the sisterhood back then, y'all are being oppressed by those black men. You should be independent. You should have your own, girl. You should do this. Later for that wife and mother and raising children. You don't need all of that. You're not a slave anymore. You're a woman. And they fell for it. And then the Baines Johnson said, look, I got the food stamps for you. I got the housing vouchers. I got all that for you. Don't have anything for the men. And it's still like that. Single, unmarried men, black men in general can't get any assistance from the government. We're always told we have to be a man. It depends. It's some assistance we can get now. But it's not like if we tell somebody that I'm pregnant, or a woman tells you I'm pregnant, And a young man says, "Look, I got a girl pregnant, and she just had the little boy, little girl, and I need some assistance." You know what they tell the young man, even if he's 15 or 25, you need to go get a job. You need to man up and be a man. That's what they tell the men. But a 15 or 25-year-old woman gets pregnant, not by a husband, but out in the streets. They tell her, "Well, come on in here, baby. What's wrong? What, you need some clothes, some food, shelter, transportation, counseling? You need some money?" She gets everything. You want help with going to school, college for free? But the young man has to let all that others, his dreams and everything go. You need to get a job, young man. And isn't it interesting that when a young man who's got children or whatever, when he can't pay his child support, he's threatened with being in prison. Or when they try to get child support, they take his driver's license, they take his liberty. When a woman can't pay child support, they offer her public and private assistance. And so, shout out to the passport bros in that regard. Because this system is crap towards men. And I'm just still scratching my head and scratching over here. Why young men are still getting women pregnant in this very sexist and anti-male system of child support. And I can understand why a lot of them are not getting married, because the marriage system in this country sucks ass. That's why you have a lot of men are leaving the country and going into other continents and other countries to find women and to create families. They don't have these draconian, strenuous, bullying marital laws and family laws or child support laws. And what I've done is in the chat room, I put hold on a second, y'all. I placed the sticker, the StreamYard sticker on here. If anybody want to come in and share your thoughts in the chat the chat room, come in and hit the link. It's there if you want to. If you're on here, if you want to share your thoughts about anything, feel free to come on in. Because I can go on and on, but I want you to do the research and understand the negatives of single motherhood. How come I can't get a celebrity? I can't get any women to talk about how terrible it is. I invite you to go to any hood in your city and knock on all the doors. Let's say if you knocked on 40 doors, 38 of them are going to be women and children that answer that damn door. And I don't understand, how come, ladies, when y'all living in poverty, and you live in these hard ass, rough neighborhoods full of gangs and drug dealing and poor schools and barely got access to health care and grocery stores and stuff, y'all still, why would y'all not only have one baby black child, but you have multiples and by multiple dudes? How come that's not addressed? It's always about demonizing the men. It's always about trying to tell the boys, well, you need to be a man. Nobody ever tells a teenage girl, well, 25 and 30-year-old woman, you need to woman up. No one ever does that. Talk about double standards. But I'm telling you, if women decide to get off their backs and off their ass and say, you know what, we're going to raise our standards for ourselves as women. And stop riding the cock carousel and stop rolling around on a roller coaster for so long. And do what you're supposed to do when you're young and connect with a young man. And when the age between 22 and 30, connect with a young man and do what you're supposed to do the right way and build a family. All this single motherhood shit is ridiculous. And I think if I could speak for unborn children, if they could pick their parents, do you think they would pick a single mother or a single woman to be their parent? Do you think they would pick some dude in a gang or just getting out of jail on probation or whatever to be their father, one who already got 3 other baby mamas? And speaking of Jason Whitlock, conservative guy, you can take it or leave it. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. And so when he was saying about, the single motherhood and all, how it connected to the passport, bro, how that's, hey, I don't know if he connected it, but I think he did. I'm connected if he did. That's why a lot of guys is like, no, I don't want none of this. These feminist hard leg chicks with all these kids by all these different people. Then you got the beta males to try to stick up for them, and try to train black boys. It's okay to get a single mama or a chick with kids. That's not cool. Let me tell y'all somehow I know not only the emotional behavior of boys, the lack of discipline when it comes and indecisiveness and words. Sister Shahrazad Ali, they're indecisive, they're emotional, they're bitchy. Next month, I know by April, a lot of people will be sharing prom pictures. And for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been monitoring them, just checking them out. And I said, I can tell which one of these boys were raised in a single mother-led household based on how his prom date looks. Y'all ready? Now, y'all start paying attention. This is February 5th, 2023. You heard it on Rico the Opinionist, $ Rico the Opinionist, and y'all sharing like this. Please hit that share button and like button and share this, please. Share this live. But check out the prom pictures. And if you want to come up here, the link is in the chat. Click on it and come on up. But when you see a young man who's fit, handsome young man, black dude, young black man, 18 years old, 17, 18, with senior prom, he's all together, put together well. Then his prom date is a thicky, fatty, unfit little female with, of course, plenty of weave, and her face is beat. Number one. Well, she just flat out little fat chick. And he looks like he can spell the words planet and fitness. Or number two, she might be a little skinny little something, but she got a tattoo on her arm. She's skinny, but her dress is very hoochie. Stomach out or very short hoochie. And she got her face beat and her weave down her body. Number two. Those are two. Check out those 2 prom dates. They'll let you know that he grew up in a house, nothing but women. Now, you want to know a young man who was raised by a father? You can look at his date. You can tell the little prom date, too, if she grew up in a house with a father. Y'all see the little young ladies? Pretty, smooth skin. They're slender, built. A lot of them not skinny, but some of them medium with cute shapes. They're not naked. They may have this little part out, with the shoulders out and like that. They may have a prom dress that comes to the knee but doesn't squeeze their bodies, and they don't have a lot of makeup on. They may have some hair tracks but not weave down their body and wigs. Look like pretty young girls. Those young men were raised by, are more likely, hasn't been proven, but more likely they have fathers in the home or a very active dad in their life. There's one thing about dads and sons. Dads who's a confident man, who's accomplished some things, and who's a natural father, just like any parent, they want to see their children do better than them. And this has never failed. Every father that's had a son, he get to be, start dating, get to be 15 and 16 years old, and dad be like, okay, son, all right, there you go, my boy. Dads, sons want their dad's approval. And dad will let them know, I don't think so, son. Not let tell you that. Now, what's wrong with her, son? That's the best you can do. You play on the basketball team. Kind of like get on them, like, really, bro? And so the dads kind of help the sons, to know how to pick those winners. Cute, sweet, pretty little things. But when it's a mama, more likely a lot of those mamas are kind of on the ratchet side. So they're not going to teach their sons against them. And so when he comes home with a girl that kind of looks like her, or what she's into, even when she was younger or what she looks now, that's what these boys. He probably got a fat mama that wear weaves, so he bring a little fat girl home with a lot of weaves and face makeup. Ooh, she really cute. She really right for him. His son over there looking like he's ready to be the cover of Essence magazine as a Bachelor of the Year. But he run around here with a Neil Carter or Wanda Sykes or Miss Pat at his goddamn prom date. And they just think it's all right. Y'all hear what I'm saying? So y'all just pay attention to those little things. It's not scientifically proven, but I'm telling you, I'm not wrong like that. Go out there and check it out. When these prom pictures start rolling around on the internet, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, start paying attention to the young men who are handsome young men, athletically fit or medium husky. They look like masculine boys. And then you can also see these boys that's raised by women. These little skinny dude that look like they the girl and their prom date looks like she's the dude. But some of these cats are very suspect that's been raised by these women today. These children born after 95, up in born in 2002, 3, and 4, and all this. Whew. The boys look like the girls, and the girls look like they the ones driving the car to the prom. The link is in the chat if you'd like to come on and share your thoughts about this single motherhood epidemic, this single motherhood crises in the Black community, and when in the hell this is gonna stop? Why is this such a forbidden topic in our race? Why can't we talk about it? I got a few minutes if you want to come up here and hit the link right here and talk about it with me, or let me know your thoughts. You disagree with what I'm saying? Even how Black children are created, right? Maybe you care about how I thought that side pieces shouldn't get pregnant by some other woman's husband, and they're disgusting people. These women that date married men, then you mess around and get pregnant. What did it say? Okay, who's this? He said, what do you say, bro? He said, let's see, Libras and Taylors, monotheistic. Hispanic people have a single mother issue as well, but the men hold their other men accountable and never disrespect the women. Yeah. Well, they have, who's this, Libra? He said, but the men hold other men accountable and never disrespect the women. Well, Libra, this is not about what Hispanic people do. And also, so I'll just leave it at that. And I'm talking about, I said single mothers. I did say single mothers, baby mamas, the forbidden topic in the Black community. But yeah, and well, see, and for you to say never, that's untrue. But because I don't know how many Hispanics you lived around, or if you lived around them, you're not being very honest. What do you mean by disrespect? What do you mean by disrespect? Because talking about the issue is not disrespecting anybody. I'm talking about statistics and data as relates to our race, our community. Because the epidemic, the crises has affected the development of our children. Single motherhood. You got it? So yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem all around, but I'm not concerned about anyone else's community. Because everyone else's community seems, y'all gonna be all right. Y'all taking care of y'all. In my community, the children they're not being taken care of. Yes, I see a lot of Hispanic chicks that got a baby in her belly, 2 of them in the basket, one walking beside the basket, and they got her husband or boyfriend right there, walking with a baby in his arm. But then also, you got the same black female with 2 kids walking, one in the basket, and not one man in sight. That's the issue that we're having here. So yeah, there's a problem. But thank you for your comment. And Hispanic men do disrespect their women. You want me to start talking about machismo? How they keep them buried under the kitchen and keep them so close to them in their truck that they can't hardly breathe. So you want to talk about that? Yeah. And who'd say that they hold other men accountable? If they held them so accountable, why the hell they got single mothers in the Hispanic community? Libra, So go ahead on with that. I will discuss our issues. I don't need you to come in and share your little thoughts on that. But anyway, the link is right there if anybody want to talk about it. The link is in the chat. I'll put it over here again in case anybody else. But maybe you didn't mean it that way. Maybe I'm interpreting it incorrectly. Boom, it's back in the chat. Anybody like come up and share your thoughts? I'm talking about our community. I'm talking about the article with Jason Whitlock, how he just alluded to, or some people believe he flat out blamed black single mothers for the attack on on Tyrese Nichols by those 5 black officers. But someone else made I think DL. I was looking at his time on the show. He showed all those white guys, white, Hispanic, and Asian dudes who also attacked black men. He said, was this the cause of single motherhood? So that's for those who believe that he was talking about because of that. I'm taking that issue out of his context and making it something that's actually an issue in the black community. Because that right there is not going to serve. What you wrote is not going to serve as a diversion to what is an actual problem. I just broke down all the psychological statistics as it relates to the negative impact on black boys when they're not raised by a father. And by the way, black men do hold other black men accountable. Libra, stay out of our race. You don't know what the fuck we doing over. We don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to our race. We do hold other men accountable all the time. But you have to be a part of our race to know what we do. So please, spare me. Black men and black women hold other men accountable. The point is, it seems like it's against the law for us to hold black women accountable for any damn thing. That's the issue we're having, Lieber and Taylor's and monotheistic living. But anywho, anybody else? I'm reading our comments, and if you want to talk to me, come on up, hit that link. I got a couple minutes. Nope. I guess you have to listen to the playback, but at least share and like this video, this live, like it for me. And we're going to get better because I'm still ironing out the creases in this thing and becoming more and more comfortable, because I usually do my lives on Facebook and I'll be killing them. But I think I need to pay more attention to this medium. That this is the medium that I can grow, and actually we can all grow the medium together. And your cash apps are always welcome right here. This on the screen. $RicotheOpinionist, and please like and share. Even if you're listening to the playback of this, please like and share. And hit that cash app. All right. Well, if that's it, I think I've exhausted everything. If I run out of anything, I'll just do a part 2. I want y'all to enjoy your Sunday evening. Well, we'll be back next time. We may have to revisit this topic because it's ongoing, and I like to see more people come out and say, not only address single motherhood, but can I get some women to say, you know what, we're going to put together an effort. Maybe some of that money, the $10 billion over 10 years from Goldman Sachs, maybe we'll use some of that money to get to little black girls in middle school and say, hey, just because you have a vagina, that doesn't mean that you have to get pregnant at 15. And also use some of that money to show them the 25 forms of birth control that they have. And if they want to talk to the young men, sure. But we got it on this side because we keep telling them, all right, get them pregnant. You're going to be paying child support at 15. And they're going to even take your report card money your mama gave you or your father gave you. For each A that you make, that money going to child support. So we got to teach the young men to respect their sperm and respect their wallets and respect and protect their mental health and their emotional growth by not impregnating these chicks over in this country or anywhere for that matter until you're somebody's husband. But I would recommend them getting anybody pregnant in this country or really marrying in this country because the marital laws and child support laws are horrific. That's why you have brothers and men. Just passport bros is something new. White men have been traveling, been passport bros for the longest. White men and black men are just now really coming together in an organized fashion in the community, going out and understanding, you know what? The grass is a little greener on the other side, over in Brazil, over in Costa Rica, over in Africa, over in Colombia, over in Thailand. They're everywhere. Brothers are going everywhere to find a fit, feminine, inspirational, sweet, family-oriented woman in other cultures, in other countries, and in other continents. But anyway, this is Rico the Opinionist. Thank you for paying attention to my live. And thank you for your comment, Libras and Taylors, monotheistic living. And I'll see all of you in the future. Y'all be cool. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do I need to leave right now? Anybody else? I don't think I need to leave.